So we're dealing with a person who is avoiding problems by being busy looking for direction and attention and love outside of themselves, by pretending to be certain about things that don't matter without ever knowing when enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with somebody who's avoiding problems and they don't know when enough is enough. We're dealing with somebody who pretends to be certain about things that don't matter in order to get attention. Because if they have your attention, maybe you'll give them a sense of direction in life, and they really have no idea how to slow down, how to stop, how to chill until they trust the process. Hello there. Welcome to Dharma Science Radio, which is exactly what your thinking mind doesn't want you to know, spoken with such pure, loving intention that you can't help but hear me out. So today we're talking about Kanye West. And if you've enjoyed the show, feel invited to like and subscribe, feel invited to become a member of the channel, feel invited to sign up for a session and explore these mechanics for yourself. Now before we dive into the chart, Kanye, if you happen to see this, it is my honest intention to be as pure and beneficial as I possibly can for all those who listen to me. However, I'm about to air out some of your dirty laundry, some skeletons in the closet, if you know what I'm saying. So if you'd like this video taken down, feel free to let me know, and I will honor that. However, I'd much rather have a real, genuine conversation with you about the mechanics at hand instead of avoiding the problems, you know? So with that out of the way, let's dive right on in. So the first thing that struck me when I look at this chart is simply how open this chart is to definition. Open root, sacral, solar plex, G, throat, ajna, and head. So we're dealing with a person who is avoiding problems by being busy looking for direction and attention and love outside of themselves, by pretending to be certain about things that don't matter without ever knowing when enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with somebody who's avoiding problems and they don't know when enough is enough. We're dealing with somebody who pretends to be certain about things that don't matter in order to get attention. Because if they have your attention, maybe you'll give them a sense of direction in life, and they really have no idea how to slow down, how to stop, how to chill until they trust the process. So we're dealing with a 1-3 ego splenic projector. You see, the thing about a projector is that projectors are here to recognize something. They're here to be recognized. Projectors are here to see into the very core essence of another person, and then to ask that person, generally a generator, questions that invoke their sacral response. To ask them questions that guide their life force energy towards satisfaction. This is the real job of the projector, is to wait for recognition from the other, wait for invitation from the other, and then you know you can actually transmit the message you're here to send. Now you see this 4426 channel connecting the heart with the spleen. This is all about communicating to the unconscious how to survive. Communicating to the body. This is about a design of surrender, and this is about transmitting a message. This means he has something to say if you haven't noticed yet. Kanye really has something to say. You know, he's an ego being after all with a defined spleen. You see, with a defined spleen, we can get away with abusing our bodies, and our body has a fixed immune system. Our body has a fixed mechanism for cleaning itself from the inside out, and it has to do with his willpower, his heart. And if he trusts his heart, and if he trusts his instincts in this spleen, then he could live a beautiful life of deep recognition. And yet the challenge is that's not necessarily what he's doing. Do you think that he's waiting for the invitation? Do you think he's waiting for recognition from the other before he starts spouting his raps? Because I don't think so. I think he simply spitballs and fires it all out, trying to gather all the attention he possibly can by avoiding all the problems and pretending to be certain about something that doesn't matter. So now I have the attention, now I have your direction, and now I can be very busy amplifying without ever knowing when enough is enough, either my bitterness or my success. You see, the signature vibration of the projector is success, and the distorted vibration is bitterness. Projecting bitterness all around, going, that's garbage, that's terrible, that's bad, this is dumb, that's poor. Even making a lifestyle out of it, out of transmitting that message of how poor or how distorted other things are based on the recognition of what they're seeing. However, what they're seeing is not coming from inner authority and type strategy. And so they're not seeing what they're here to see. They're instead seeing the homogenized field of nonsense and insanity that this world is dealing with. After all, he's got a wide open G and a wide open root. This means that Kanye's behaviors and his pressure to get things done is all in direct proportion to the world around him that he was born with. You see, when a wide open center is like this, without a single gate activation, it's kind of like a reflector center, in that the not-self pole is a little bit weaker, if I can put it that way. It's a little bit less personal. It's a little bit more collective or transpersonal in its nature, that he's looking for love and direction outside of himself. And he's very busy simply being busy for the sake of being busy until it's all over. Because the real themes are, I need to avoid problems, I need to attract attention by being certain about something that doesn't matter without ever knowing when enough is enough. Because I'm the 27 after all. I've got this 27 activated in my undefined sacral center, and this means I care. I care so much. I have the energy to care, and yet I don't have the 50th gate. This means I don't have the principles, the values, the true intelligence to know what is worthy of caring about. I simply have the 27. I'm here to care. I care so much. I'm doing the work to care. And yet without the 50, what does he actually care about? Well, he most likely cares about things that don't matter. He most likely cares about attracting attention, avoiding problems, and being very busy pretending to be certain.
The biggest problem I was having was getting my head wrapped around all of the content and all of the information held within the human design system. Ian really made it simple for me to engage my curiosity, for one, but made it approachable enough to where I felt like I could immediately get value out of the conversation and immediately start applying things to my day-to-day life, where it didn't seem like some big puzzle I had to solve. It was an immediate solution to something that I was dealing with in my life. How am I going to apply this with any sense of reality? And he made it so simple and so easy that I have now been on another year and a half since that first meeting with him and my first introduction into human design. And it has really given my overall life experience and the quality of my conscious experience a great boost, and overall something I would highly recommend to anyone else that's early on in their years, or even months sometimes, like I was at human design.
I've been following Ian for about a year now, and I got the chance to work with him recently. The way that his knowledge of human design expands when you're in his presence to fit what you need exactly is something that is a joy to work with and a joy to see live in person.
Oh my gosh, this session was so unique because Ian really made it feel like I didn't have to worry about expectations. I didn't have to have a certain outcome be a certain way, and really helped me understand that I could just kind of ease my way into this. And he was so conversational about it that it felt like I looked up and the time had gone so quickly that I wasn't expecting it to be as much value as it was for as easy as it felt.
I definitely recommend getting a reading, getting a chance to work with Ian. He's one of the kindest souls I've met and has a really firm grasp on the information in human design. Definitely recommend.
I would recommend working with Ian for anyone that is wanting to have someone that will be both there to nurture your curiosity about human design and the fun things that you can explore about it, but also will challenge you and push you in a direction that will get you up and moving and using it in your real life. I think more than anything else, if you want to not just mentally know this system, if you want to understand how to apply it and use it and see immediate results, Ian is the person I would recommend for that. I think it is important for people to remember that this is an experiment. It is not something that you can try without trying. Like you can't get the flavor of something unless you've chewed it up and swallowed it, right? And this is one of those things where Ian does such a wonderful job of making each thing that you're experiencing understandable and allows you to apply it with repetition. So it's not just a one-time thing. You learn how to build really good habits and how to build really good ways to honor your own authority in your own life. And from there, he lets you go and then you can fly. It's pretty remarkable how well he sets up my overall experience within human design for the purpose of changing my life, which it really did.
After all, he's got this 47. This 47 is bringing images and bringing snapshots or trailers like in a movie from his past. He's always returning to the past and trying to make sense of the past. And the 63 up here is the pressure to doubt. So he doubts things that do matter, and things that don't matter, that's what he thinks is the answer. He pretends to be certain about the past when in fact he doesn't have the pressure to actually make sense of the past in a consistent way. He simply has images or visions that goes through his head, and then he pretends to be certain about it because he gets some new insight because of that vision. And then he uses everything he can to get your attention, because if I can get your attention, then I can be really busy avoiding problems. You see, I can be very busy avoiding problems, delivering a message that can generate revenue. You see, it said that this 2644 could sell ice to an Eskimo. And when he produces shoes or a t-shirt for $40 or $50 that is simply a plain white tee, you can kind of see that he's selling unnecessary things, because he's avoiding problems in life, as in avoiding the problem of his own survival or not, by selling trash to people that's not important. And it's not to diss anybody here. It's simply to get these mechanics out in the light so we can see them. So in his personality sun, we see the 45th gate in the line of canvassing. This 45th gate is the gate of the gatherer. This is the tribal leader. This is the voice of the tribal leader, the voice of the Wa. This is somebody who can speak from a very high and mighty place within themselves. And this nature of canvassing is about getting a scope, getting a picture of what's really going on, and really knowing what you have. And then in the earth of the personality, we have the gate of the egoist with a bird in the hand. So we have a shining sun that thinks it's the top dog, leader of the tribe, and this personality earth that then grounds in by taking advantage of what he already has on lock and valuing what he already has above what he might have. In the unconscious, we have the third line of the gate of rationalizing. This 47 in his ajna, in the line of self-oppression. So those visions I spoke of earlier is getting snapshots and visions of his past that encourage him to oppress himself in one way or another. To really twist things up in the mind and to make mistakes about remembering things, and to have a vision and then to create an interpretation of that vision that creates some grand picture, and then to go off transmitting this wild message about something that doesn't matter because he can't be certain about it. And yet if he has your attention, he probably feels successful. Because in the unconscious of his personality, sun is the line of the enchanter and the gate of openness. In this ego center of his, this open, unconscious, deeply emotional pressure that's within him is all about how can I enchant other people into my self-oppressive perspective. How can I enchant other people into my self-oppressive perspective about being certain despite the fact that it doesn't matter, about being certain and gathering attention over the nature of simply being busy avoiding problems without ever knowing when enough is enough. You know? And yet the beauty and the truth of this message, how powerful it could be. Somebody who's here to transmit wisdom to the undefined spleens and defined alike. Somebody who's here to honor the fact that they only have so much energy in the day. Somebody who can trust their intuitive insights and their splenic hits. Someone who could be very existential and very much in the moment and very, very successful without the bitterness. And yet when we see him complaining about things, you can see that there can be quite a bit of bitterness in there. And it comes from not knowing when enough is enough. You see an undefined sacral center like this with the 5, the 27, the 42, and the 3. This 3 is trying to make sense of brand new things. This 42 is busy trying to take things to their greatest heights. This 5 is trying to pause and create its own rhythm, while the 27 simply wants to care. And you've got all that wrapped up in not knowing when enough is enough. Let me make sense of this new order by pushing it to the very limit of what it can be within my own rhythm of care, which amounts to avoiding problems by gathering attention over being certain about what doesn't matter. And so that's about all I have for Kanye at this exact moment. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have, feel invited to like the video, subscribe to the channel, consider becoming a member of the open source Sangha, where you gain access to more advanced materials and my personal time at a discounted minimum donation. So with that out of the way, I hope you're having a great day. Take care. Bye for now. If you have enjoyed the show and would like to learn more about how all of this applies specifically to you, then kindly refer to the link in this video's description, Private Consultation. Here, we can dive into all of the details together in a recorded call. May your signature vibration of satisfaction, success, peace, and surprise find you in a good way.